Yo, what up, YouTube? It's Monday morning, August 27th. We had a busy weekend. We've got John McCain, Q, the Pope, a shooting to talk about, etc., etc. But before we get into all of that, I'm going to do a new segment for you guys. I'm going to call this the bullshit of the day. Now, mind you, much of what I talk about in these videos is the bullshit of the day. But this particular article that I saw floating around a bunch of mainstream media websites just truly gave me one of the biggest eye rolls I think I've done in a while. I just facepalm, head shake. It was bad, okay? And I'm going to use Forbes as the example to show you guys this article or this talking point, this narrative that was spreading around. And it says, that anti-vaccination message may be from a Russian bot or a troll. And what they're trying to tell us is that all of this vaccine information, this anti-vaccine truth being spread around the internet is all from Russian bots. It's always the Russians. It's always those damn Russians, right? First, they influenced the 2016 presidential election, prevented Hillary Clinton from getting elected. Now those Russian bots are trying to wake everybody up to vaccines. So if we're going to use the mainstream logic for this, it sounds like those Russian bots are trying to frickin' save the world, right? Maybe soon those Russian bots are going to start telling everybody to eat organic and stop buying GMO foods. Maybe those Russian bots are soon going to help start disclosing the secret space programs and educate us about all the hidden technologies that could save our world. I mean, if the Russian bots are really doing all of this, I say, keep it up, Russian bots. I'm all for it. Keep saving the world. Keep waking everybody up. Now, a little bit more bullshit before we move on into talking about John McCain and Q is that I was dealing with some Facebook censorship yesterday that I want to share with you guys. So anytime that I tried to upload a photograph or a meme about John McCain, and especially the ones showing John McCain's connections to ISIS, Facebook swiped it, literally just deleted it really quick. Here's an example of screenshots that I uploaded to Twitter. So on the left here, you can see the photograph I posted, and then within 5 minutes, my comment is still there, but the photograph is gone. Like I said, the meme has just been swiped. And this wasn't only happening to me, but it was happening to a lot of other pages on Facebook yesterday. So we are dealing with some serious censorship. Not only that, but we have distractions galore. We're going to talk about what happened in Jacksonville in a minute here. So as Q said just yesterday, big week ahead, and examples of that all around right now. So word of wisdom here, be very careful with what and how you share information on social media. Don't give the artificial intelligence programs or even the actual humans perusing through videos and posts any reason or excuse to give you an easy strike and take your post down, right? Don't spread your truth in a hateful way. Don't do it in a divisive way. Be very mindful of how you do it, okay? But anyway, moving on from that, now let's talk about Q and John McCain. So 2 days ago, John McCain died, or they say he died. We'll talk about that. At the age of 81 from brain cancer. And with John McCain's passing, that gave us our first Q post for the last few days. And it says right here, suicide weekend, question mark, hands up, question mark, 30, 28, impossible, coincidence, we are in control, big week ahead. Okay, so let's deduce this. This post here has everything to do with John McCain. Now, let's discuss what hands up and 30 and also the 28 all mean. And what this is in reference to is that 30 days ago, Q posted a picture of John McCain with his hands up. That's this one right here. So on July 25th, John McCain with his hands up, Q said, no name, John McCain, returning to headlines. That was 30 days ago. Well, hell, 30 days later, John McCain is sure in the headlines with his death. And let's check out that 28. What does that 28 mean? Well, that post 30 days ago of John McCain, Q posted it at the minute marker of 28. What minute marker did they say John McCain died at just the other day? 4, 28 Mountain Standard Time, 28. So what this is here is another confirmation of Q. I'll love to see how all the anti-Q shills spin this one. Waiting for Jack Posebek's answer to this, right? And not only do we have that confirmation, but we have another piece of foreknowledge that Q has. A month ago, Q was telling us no name returned to the headlines. Boom. John McCain's dead. Returns to the headlines. Same exact minute marker. Q asks, impossible? Coincidence? Not at all. Very planned. And then Q says, we are in control. So what does this mean? Well, my guess is that John McCain didn't actually die of brain cancer. His health was just for the public optics. What I think actually happened is that John McCain was neutralized, put into submission behind the scenes. He may have very well been given the death penalty, or he could still be alive, just in custody somewhere, maybe life in prison or something like that. And I think John McCain was, one of the very first ones to be neutralized by the White Hats. They got what they needed from him, maybe in regards to testimony, but they went up to John McCain. They said, hey, we got all this evidence against you. It's your time to go. And in the public domain, he was killed off, again, for the optics, to keep the peace right now. But like I said, behind the scenes, it's always a much different story. And we are in control, Q says. The White Hats, like I said, likely neutralized John McCain. And that's that. Big week ahead, Q says. So there's the news on Mr. No Name and those Q connections there. Let's just talk about a little bit of the fallout and how Trump and the White House are handling John McCain's death, because it's actually pretty hilarious to see this fallout. So first of all, Donald Trump rejected plans for the White House statement praising John McCain. White House was about to put out a statement praising him. Trump rejected it, just threw it out. Hilarious. Freaking hilarious. John McCain actually deserves really no respect. Actually look into the McCain Institute and you'll see it's a front for, there's all kinds of connections between human trafficking, weapons trafficking, and that McCain Institute. So very hilarious. Trump rejected plans for that White House statement. Not only that, but Trump tweeted the other day, my deepest sympathies and respect go out to the family of Senator John McCain. To the family, right? Nothing about John McCain himself in this tweet. Again, no name. There's another connection, confirmation right there. No name McCain. Remember just a few weeks ago as well when Trump was signing the military spending bill that's named after John McCain? Didn't say John McCain's name at all when he signed it. Another no-name confirmation, right? They just keep piling up. Again, how do the anti-Q shills answer to these? They don't answer at all. But again, Trump, no-name McCain in his tweet. Next little piece of fallout here. Oh, White House returns flag to full staff less than 48 hours after John McCain's death. So this is actually going word for word, by the book in regards to the code for the flag. Whenever a public official dies, I think I read somewhere that the flag is supposed to be at half staff on the day they die and for the day after they die, which it was. And then as soon as possible, the White House raises that shit back up to full staff. But of course, the corporate media is going to use any chance they get to stab at the administration. So even though they went by the book, ABC News here is saying, oh, White House returns flag to full staff. And they're trying to say that it's disrespectful when A, it's not disrespectful, it's by the book, and B, like I said, John McCain deserves no respect anyway. And then last little thing here, Donald Trump dared to golf only 17 hours after John McCain died. Now, first of all, this is just hilarious because, again, trolling, guys. Master troller at work here. Going back to golf right after John McCain died. Second of all, there's that lucky number 17 again. 17th letter of the alphabet is Q. Another little hint right there in the public domain. And you got to understand that these particular headlines that get put out, They are purposeful. They are planned well in advance. So this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing, and this headline wasn't a spur-of-the-moment headline, okay? 17 hours after John McCain died. Another confirmation, guys. So just hilarious. Like I said, hilarious fallout from this John McCain death being handled by Donald Trump and the administration. I love it. I love it. And this whole big week ahead, we're going to see. We're going to see what that big week ahead is going to be. And let's now move into actually a couple more things in regards to Q. Then we'll talk about Jacksonville. So something that happened a couple days ago. Shout out to Lionel Media. Trump meets with promoter of QAnon conspiracy theory in the Oval Office. So Lionel, who's got an awesome YouTube channel, great journalist. His vocabulary is just, he's got a spectacular vernacular. And I actually did an interview with him, I think back in January. We talked, great guy. He got a chance to go tour the White House and then got a chance to meet with President Trump as well. And then, of course, the corporate media takes any chance they get to discredit and attack. They ran these articles about Lionel being a QAnon conspiracy promoter meeting with Trump, etc., etc. So you go, Lionel. Shout out. Proud of you for doing that. I'm going to keep supporting you and your work. And then one last thing. Check it out. General Flynn changed his Twitter header. So this is something that we've been noticing for months now, is that every couple months, every so often, General Flynn changes his Twitter header profile to pictures that, again, send very clear messages in very subtle ways. A few months ago, General Flynn's Twitter header was water. It was a wave of water, and this was very soon after Q posted "Watch the Water." This was a long time ago. Now we have General Flynn changing his Twitter header to right here, "Hooah! U.S. Army battle cry, hooah." Now, what might this mean? Well, hooah comes from HUA, which means heard, understood, and acknowledged. This is a military battle cry that's often used to show determination, spirit when the battle's about to start getting heated, right? So if General Flynn is changing his Twitter header to a battle cry that's used when the shit's about to hit the fan, well, again, Q saying big week ahead, I would say that's another piece of evidence that we have showing us that the shit's about to hit the fan, guys. Not just the little pieces of shit, but I'm talking about like the big pieces of shit. Those big monsters are just going to hit it and just splatter everywhere, right? I'm excited. We'll have some cleanup to do, but I'm excited. So there's all in regards to Q. Went through Flynn's Twitter, went through John McCain, those connections, hilarious fallout from McCain's death. Now we're going to talk about the last two things, the Jacksonville shooting and the Pope. So yesterday, apparently a guy, 24-year-old guy, lost a Madden tournament. Madden is a football video game. Lost a video game tournament in Jacksonville and decided to go on a shooting rampage and then shoot and kill himself. So if you know anything about how the deep state operates, this pretty quickly set off the false flag alarms within you. It smelled fishy from the start. First of all, when you see anything that could look like a false flag, just go through the checklist, right? Is there anything the deep state might want to distract us from? Well, right now, hell yeah, there's a lot of stuff they want to distract us from. Did the shooter kill himself? They did here. How fishy is the situation? I mean, a guy lost a video game tournament. Now, I understand that there's a lot of unstable people out there right now, but I mean, in regards to my own experience, I used to play a lot of video games when I was little, and the most that me and my friends ever did when we lost tournaments or lost video games is maybe like throw the Nintendo 64 controller at the wall, right? It was never a, hey, let's go freaking shoot some people and kill ourselves. It just doesn't make sense. at all for this to happen. And of course, the media went very quick into the whole, mass shooting, gun control narrative, et cetera, et cetera. So again, it all just seems far too mysterious, far too weird. And again, guys, I have done videos on this before, how with the mind control programming that the rogue intelligence agencies do, they can control people through various mind control techniques, trauma-based techniques. They can even control people's minds through electromagnetic frequencies, but they can literally program people to commit acts like this. And not only to commit acts like this, but they can even program kill switches into their victims to do acts like this. So when they do, say, their operation, then they kill themselves, right? So I think that this shooter was either a mind control victim who did it on behalf of some powerful controlling interests, or some hired men just went in there and did the shooting, and then they had their patsy already waiting. So that's my thoughts on this. I'll be interested to see what more information we get from this incident. I even saw a picture of the shooter this morning, I believe, and he had the big bug eyes, right? The big MK eyes, I call them. Much like many of the shooters we've had over the past few years, when their eyes are like this, when they're in court, or when we see a picture of them, they're like big, and that's another telltale sign of trauma-based programming, of something in their subconscious that's being activated and leading them. They're not sane of the mind, and often they're on psych meds, because they want, the more unstable, the more weak of the mind these victims are, the easier they are to mind control. So you'll usually find them on psych meds. They'll have a psychologist that disappears pretty quick after these events happen, and et cetera, et cetera. Not much more to say about that. Now, last thing I want to talk about is the Pope. Big news coming out of the Vatican. I'm going to reference this man's Twitter, Rod Dreher. This is where I first saw it. It says, his tweet here, "My God, it's all here. Francis knew about McCarrick. The former Vatican ambassador to the U.S. spills all about the Lavender Mafia in the Vatican and in the U.S. hierarchy. It's a total massacre." He posts a link to this document here that's basically the testimony from this archbishop about how the Pope knew all about sex abuse claims and these allegations and totally kept silent about it. So this is absolutely blowing up, this testimony by the archbishop, who used to be the Vatican ambassador to the U.S., and the Pope is even keeping silent on this abuse claim letter. So the Pope was in Ireland, finishing up a visit to Ireland, and not saying a word about this. So if you think it was fake, if the Pope actually didn't know about these allegations, he would just come out and say, "Hey, I didn't know. Hey, this testimony that this archbishop is putting out there is fake," right? Usually, when you have crazy claims against you, you'll instantly say it's fake. When you don't confirm or deny, when you plead the fifth, that's usually consent that it's true, right? Your silence is consent in this day and age. That's how they operate. So I don't think the Pope is going to survive this one. Hell, maybe soon the Pope will get brain cancer and have to slide out of the public domain in some way, shape, or form, or it might be an accident or something like that. But I would say that Pope Francis's time is drawing very close. And hey, perfect, great that the corruption within the Vatican is getting exposed. And last point I want to make here is no false idols, guys. Beware the false idols. Beware the false idols in your religious institutions. Beware the false religious dogma that they try to brainwash you with. Beware of the false science idols. How much scientific dogma are they trying to put out there to brainwash us with? Beware of your favorite media pundits, mainstream pundits, even the alternative journalists out there. Beware of those false idols. A lot of them are lying to you and bullshitting you. Just the only idol you should idolize is yourself. Be your own leader. Be your own savior. No one out there is going to save you except yourself. That's all I have to say about that. But anyway, that's my video there today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you much for Patreoning and PayPaling and supporting me in whatever way, shape, or form you're supporting me, even if it's just watching and liking these videos. I appreciate it. I'll have a lot more coming out this week. You guys will be seeing more of me soon. Done.